You remember your father, huh? You're just seeing the object, you remember the owner of that object. So similarly, now Krishna, he is going to explain, he is going to speak about different opulences in this chapter, right? And also this chapter is very, very important. Why? Because four important verses, essential verses, slokas, that is known as Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. Means within four shlokas, you will get the essence of the whole scripture. So that is there in this chapter. So how we can think of Krishna always? So based on that, Krishna is going to speak about his opulence. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya eva mahabaho Shridu me paramam vacha Yatteham priyamanaya Vakshami hitakamyaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. So in most of the chapters, especially in 7th chapter, 9th chapter, everywhere Krishna is one thing he is stressing upon, he is giving more focus upon. What is that? Here. Shravanam. That is very, very important. So he's saying, listen. And why? Because you are my friend. These are very common shlokas, right? So you are my friend, and that's why he is speaking this most confidential knowledge, or knowledge about his absolute, or knowledge about the opulence, everything he is speaking. So somebody who is favorable, somebody who is friend, somebody who is receptive, you can speak to that person only. Somebody is not receptive, it's of no use speaking. Maybe battery down or something. You can switch it on. No, not this one. Maybe the speaker. It's not charged fully. You can just plug it, switch it on. Yes. And now he is, what he's saying, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. So the knowledge, whatever he has given as of now, especially about the opulence as energy, like in 7th chapter, in 9th chapter, he spoke about his energies, his different opulences, but not in detail. So now he is going to give the same knowledge in more detail. So, Na me vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshaya aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasha. Neither the host of the demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. For in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. So in first shloka, and in the purport of this shloka, like Prabhupada is explaining how Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. We will not go in much detail, we have discussed this many a time. So Parasar Muni is giving, that anybody who is having all 6 opulences in full, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is. And we see that Krishna is that Supreme Personality of Godhead because he possesses all 6 opulences in full quantity. So ultimately, means establishing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the source of everything. He is the cause of all causes. And that's why Krishna is saying that neither the host of demigods, I mean all the demigods, nor great sages know my origin and opulences. Even demigods, all the sages, they do not know the opulences. Why? I am the source of the demigods and sages. Na me vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshaya. I am the source. He is the cause of all causes. Like, I may know about myself. I may not completely know about my father. Right? Because he is the source. He is my source. I may know whatever I means after birth. Just try to understand this example. Is it okay? Are you getting this point? You may not know completely about your father. You may know only from the point you took birth, maybe after birth when you got the sense, and whatever you have seen in your father's life, right? You have only that much knowledge. But your father knows you knows about you everything from your birth. Everything he knows about you. Just a crude example to understand. Why? Because your father is the source. You took birth after your father, right? Your father knows everything, but you do not know everything about your father. So Krishna is saying, I am the source of everyone, every quality, everything. And that's why I know everything. But these sages, demigods, they do not know everything about me. Because when Krishna is the source, he is the first personality. There was nothing when he was, nothing means that he is the cause of all causes. Everything emanates from him. Yo mamajam manadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asammuna samartyeshu sarva papai pramujyate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only, undiluted among men, is freed from all sins. So having complete knowledge about God means what? Knowing that God is the source of everything. God is the cause of all causes. And God is unborn. Unborn means Krishna, means he is the first personality. He is not born. Born means like we take birth. Based on our karmas, we accept a particular body. But God never accepts body like this. God is always God, and He is always existing, because He does not have any material body. His body is a transcendental spiritual body. So there is no beginning, there is no end when it comes to God. So one who knows about God, he is free from sin. We will understand why. If we know about God, then what will be the result of knowing God, and how we will become free from sin? So the point here is like one who has the understanding about Krishna, about truth. So he will be free from all sin, because he will not be in illusion. Somebody knowing about Krishna, knowing about his relationship with Krishna, then he will be focused on that journey. He will not be deluded with temporary material illusion, and then somebody not attached or not deluded with material desires or material illusion will not engage in sinful activities. He will be free from all sins. He will become pure, right? Once we understand. Now Krishna is speaking about different qualities, not only the personalities, not only he is the source of all personalities, like sages, Muni, sages, demigods, they are all born of Krishna only. They are coming from Krishna only. So if you go in detail in this purport, Prabhupada is giving explanation about it. Like Lord Brahma, where from he originated, where from he is taking birth. He is coming out from the on the lotus flower, which is coming out from the navel of Mahavishnu. Garbhodakshay Vishnu, not Mahavishnu. So ultimately, all these Vishnu, we know that these are the expansion of Krishna only. And not only Lord Brahma, even all other, you see the Manus, the Rishis, the great sages, and all these coming from Krishna ultimately, right? So that's why he is the source of all demigods, all the sages, and not only that, even all the qualities we have, even that quality is coming from Krishna. So in this verse, he is going to speak about different qualities which is coming from Krishna. Buddhi jnanam sammoha kshama satyam dhamma shama sukham dukham bhavo bhavo bhayam cha bhavameva cha ahimsa samata tushti tapo danam yasho yasha bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva prithak vidha. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. Either good quality or bad quality. Fearlessness is not good, right? Means you see all qualities created by, he's saying, by me alone. So you can go detail in this purport and understand what these qualities, what is the meaning of intelligence. Let's quickly understand. We will not spend much time on this part, but what is intelligence?
You know the difference between good and bad.
Difference, yeah, discrimination between good and bad. Huh? Yes. What is the real intelligence? Real intelligence? Huh?
What your identity?
Prabhupada is writing, intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. Yes. And knowledge refers to, yes, that is discrimination, knowing what is good, what is bad. And how we can define what is good, what is bad? Based on goal, based on purpose. If we know that we are this body, I am this body, don't know about soul, then whatever discrimination we will make, that will be based on body. So if we know that we are part and parcel of Krishna, we are soul, then our discrimination, our decision making will be based on a spiritual understanding. Then we will make right decision, right? So and ultimately intelligence means discriminating power.
Understanding.
Knowledge?
Soul and intelligence.
Yes, that is intelligence. What is knowledge? This answer is for knowledge especially. Knowledge, we know we have discussed so much about knowledge. What is real knowledge? One we get in university and colleges, that is to maintain our body, that is Jada Vidya, right? But knowledge, as per Bhagavad Gita, means that knowledge is to maintain your body. But the real knowledge is knowing about your true identity, knowing about your true purpose of life, right? That is called knowledge. Knowing about God, about your relationship with God, that is called knowledge as per Bhagavad Gita, as per scripture, right? So similarly, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, like these are all individual topics. We can discuss in detail. So forgiveness is a quality, and we have been discussing this, how great quality, a devotee must have this quality, forgiveness. Because if we do not forgive, we will not be forgiven. So we should forgive ourselves and forgive others for their mistake. How many times we should forgive? Jesus Christ, he said, no, ideally it is mentioned that 7 times you should forgive others. Then one of his disciples asked, how many times should I forgive? Sometimes we become, how many times the person is doing so much bad and again I'm forgiving, but still he is doing. So he asked, how many times I should forgive? And Jesus, he said, 70 times, 7 times. So this is height of forgiveness. Yes, I mean these are the great qualities, of course. Means ultimately we should develop this quality. Truthfulness. Truthfulness. This is again a quality. Means Prabhupada is mentioning truthfulness means sometimes it is mentioned even in Bhagavad Gita you will see Satyam Priyam. What is that? Means you should speak truth in such a way that you should not hurt people. That is the principle. That it's not that if you are speaking truth, you should hurt people. But here it is mentioning, Prabhupada is saying that, this is a general principle. It's a normal etiquette. But Prabhupada, what he's saying, you should not compromise with the truth and you should speak it boldly. Like Prabhupada, he never compromised. He was in Western world and he knows that all these bad habits, sinful activity will lead towards hellish condition of life. He never compromised. Straightforward, he was speaking about it. So just to make people happy, or just to fulfill your some personal motive, not letting know the reality, that is biggest cheating. That is So when it comes to a spiritual journey or a spiritual purpose, one should never compromise with speaking truth. One should come up very boldly, very strongly. Yes, we have to see the person, the audience. We have to have that kind of intelligence, how to speak, when to speak, so that it should give big impact. So sometimes we may be polite, but at times, based on the time, place and circumstances, one should speak very hard. so that if it is really going to help the person. The point is, whenever we are speaking, our purpose is to help the person. If the person is not in that mood, you cannot speak very hard, very strong. I mean, so this intelligence we have to use. So truthfulness, control of the senses, that is very much this word. It means knowing what is helping me, what is not helping me. Control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence. So non-violence also Prabhupada explaining. Non-violence, general meaning of that is do not fight, do not do any violence. But Prabhupada is saying violence is required. Whenever violence is required, it must be done. Violence, we have to understand the meaning. What is the purpose of violence? Violence is not just for any unnecessary reason, for some personal motives. But if fight is required for a higher principle, for a higher purpose, that must be done. So real violence is establishing the dharma, means justice, that is. So this is also an important tool. In the name of non-violence, just being silent is not practical. Prabhupada said, no, this is not possible in this material world. Sometimes violence will be required. So that too, for the justice, it should be done. So equanimity, satisfaction, all these are detailed topic in fact. Equanimity, satisfaction, austerity. Satisfaction means, yes, we must be satisfied at some point of time. But satisfaction does not mean complacency or being lethargic. Sometimes we have this understanding. Satisfaction means doing nothing. Whatever I'm having, I'm satisfied. Why to do anything else now? But if you go through real satisfaction, the meaning of real satisfaction means you have your own limit. You know your limit. You know what is your basic necessities of life. You are satisfied with that. Whatever situation is there in your life, you are satisfied at personal level. But for a better cause, for a higher cause, you are working. Right? So like Prabhupada, I gave example of Srila Prabhupada. He was very much satisfied there in Vrindavan. No, if he was not supposed to take so much pain. He traveled all over the world in that elderly age. Why? He was taking so much trouble. Why? Because he was having a higher purpose. So devotees, their satisfaction is not that they are lethargic. They are satisfied at their level. Whatever they are getting, yadriksha lava santushto. Whatever they are getting by the mercy of Krishna, they are happy in that situation. But they are always active. They are working for others. They are working for the benefit of the society at large. So that kind of satisfaction Krishna is speaking about. So austerity, of course, in our devotional service we see so much austerity. We do waking up early in the morning, chanting rounds, going to pilgrimage, and especially observing some fasting on Ekadashi or a special occasion like Janmashtami is coming. So observing fasting, doing so many services, that is called austerity. Charity, very important, charity, purification of the wealth. So Prabhupada is giving a detailed explanation how to do charity, when to do charity, all these things are there. Fame and infamy. Fame and infamy. What does it mean? Means devotees, they are not attached. Fame, when you get fame, you are attached to that fame. And when you get infamy, then you are disturbed. So this attachment and aversion, both are just two sides of one coin. Either you are attached with something or you are hating something. Both are a kind of attachment only. But devotees are free from aversion and attachment. Not only attachment, sometimes we think, okay, I'm not attached. But if you hate something, whatever is happening, whatever, if you have lots of hatred against that, that is also a kind of attachment. So devotees are neutral. They accept everything as mercy of Krishna. They see the hands of Krishna in everything and move forward towards their journey, the spiritual journey. They are not stuck with something, either with attachment or with aversion. They are not stuck with something. Like so many things happening in the society, and sometimes we become so much attached with that, not ready to move forward. I've seen so many people. Like, I'm giving you one example. Somebody is on the path of Krishna consciousness. His journey is to advance, right? And maybe I developed a love and affection for cows. And when I see cows are being killed, this is very good. That I do not, this is something which is something which is stopping. I cannot see that. I cannot tolerate that. But now, with this kind of attachment to protect cows, they forget about their Krishna conscious journey. They avoid everything. They are just focused on one thing. Maybe this example not completely to this, but I'm talking about any kind of attachment will stop us. Positive, negative, whatever. So we have to never forget about our Krishna conscious journey. So that's why hatred and these things don't have to be attached. So these various qualities of living being are created by me alone. So Prabhupada has given a beautiful description about it. Just go through this. Maharshaya saptapurve chatvaro manavastatha madbhava manasajata yesham lok ima praja. The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages, and the manus, progenitors of mankind, come from me. The same I explained about. So everyone, all these progenitors, means the creator of the mankind, they are coming from Krishna. Born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. So different innumerable planets are there, and different living entities are there, different kinds of human beings, demigods, different personalities. So everybody is ultimately coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamyo veti tatvata sova avikalpena yogena yujyate natra samsaya. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. What is the use of knowing all these things? What will be the result of knowing about the different opulences of Krishna? Now we got to know that everything, he is going to conclude with 8th verse, which is very famous, we have been quoting again and again. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. What is saying? I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So similar, the essence is same. So now, when we know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is the cause of all causes, everything emanates from Him. What is the result of knowing this? What will happen? Just you try to see yourself. Means, if you come to know everything about Krishna, what will be your action? What will be your step? Huh? Now you know about you know about Krishna, your relationship with Krishna, then what will happen?
We'll start praying.
Devotion, right? We will take shelter of Krishna. And that is why Krishna is speaking about his opulences. You develop love or you develop attraction only by knowing about somebody, when you know who he is. So, from the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, we are just knowing about we are trying to know Bhagavad Gita. Krishna. Who is Krishna? What are different characteristics of Krishna? What are different opulences of Krishna? How I am related to Krishna. So knowing about yourself, knowing about your relation with Krishna, automatically, what will be the next? And you will develop some dedication, some devotion, love for Krishna. So that's why he is speaking all these different opulences. And verse number 8, 9, 10, 11, this is known as Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. Means these 4 shlokas having the essence of all scriptures, not only Bhagavad Gita. The essence of all scripture is there in these 4 shlokas. What is the first thing? This first shloka is called, like if you want to categorize or divide the whole knowledge of Vedic scripture, you can divide it into 3 sections. One is called Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha Gyan. And second section that is called Avideya. And third is Prayojana. Sambandha, Avideya and Prayojana. Sambandha means knowing about your relation, knowing about who you are. That is called Sambandha Gyan. Like we know that I am soul and Krishna is supreme, the source of, he is my source. Yes? So knowing Krishna and knowing about self, that is called Sambandha Gyan. Is it clear? The meaning is this word is very clear, meaningful. Sambandha, knowing about relationship, our relationship with Krishna, that is called Sambandha Gyan. So whatever you study in a scripture, the first thing you come to know about your true identity. Like in Bhagavad Gita, we got to know about our true identity. We got to know about our relationship with Krishna. So this is called Sambandha Gyan. And then to establish that this relationship, we need a process that is called Avideya. Avideya means process. What is that process through which I can establish my relationship with Krishna? And what is that process? What is that process? Mad chitta mad gat prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Process is bhakti. And devotee who is always engaged in devotional service. We could see so many processes in Bhagavad Gita, like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. And we have also come to know that Bhakti Yoga is the culmination of all other yoga process. We should not think, this is another misconception people have. And they think that, okay, Bhagavad Gita has given so many processes. So Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, these are all independent processes. No, this is not independent individual processes to achieve Krishna. These are all different processes, finally culminating into Bhakti Yoga. Finally you are surrendering to Krishna. Whichever process you are following, ultimately you have to take shelter of Krishna. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. So somebody who is following the process of karma, or means they are engaged in karma yoga, somehow they are attached with the results, that is called karma yoga. Following the process of karma yoga, they are trying to understand Krishna. Somebody is following the process of jnana yoga through their mental speculation or through scriptural study. They are trying to understand Krishna. Somebody trying to understand or see Krishna through other yoga processes, Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, right? So ultimately, they are trying to know the truth about Krishna. But after knowing the truth about Krishna, now we got to know about who is Krishna. Even after following all those different processes, they will come to this final knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is transcendental. He is the cause of all causes. He is the source of everything. Now after knowing, what is the next step? Now you got to know about it. Now you have to know, how can I connect it? How can I get connected, or how can I establish my relationship with Krishna? And when it comes to establishing the relationship, the process is bhakti. So many times we have been discussing, simply knowing about your relation is not sufficient. When you execute, or when you act, when you live in that relation, that is the real meaning of knowing your relation. Simply knowing is not. So Prabhupada is saying that people say that God is great, but how much great He is, how really He is great, if you want to know, then you have to go through this Bhagavad Gita. So through this chapter, we are going to know how great Krishna is, right? So that's what So when we come to know about the truth about Krishna, then the next step will be we will become devotee, we will worship Krishna, we will think of Krishna. And Krishna is saying, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. They are always thinking of Krishna. Whatever they do, whatever means with their words, with their activity, with their thoughts, they are always absorbed in Krishna. They are thinking of Krishna. Their lives are fully devoted to my service. Their only aim, the aim of life is to serve Krishna. And they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Kathayantasya mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So pure devotees, whenever they meet, they are always absorbing this activity. Kathayantasya. They are always discussing about Krishna, speaking about Krishna. So when it comes to speaking about Krishna, like right now we are talking about Krishna, any planning you do, any service you are planning, even that is a speaking. But center is Krishna. The goal of life is Krishna. So whatever, even our day-to-day activity, if we are taking care of our physical health, if we are cooking, cleaning, going for job, business, whatever we are doing, why we are doing, that is not, means if we have Krishna in center, that is being Krishna consciousness. It's not that when you are in temple, when you are reading Bhagavad Gita, when you are chanting the holy name of the Lord, these are the direct meals, these are the direct activity, this is sadhana bhakti, right? So we have to do that. And apart from this, whatever other responsibilities we have, if Krishna is center, for example, if I want a good health, I should always remember why I want good health. The purpose is to engage myself in service, right? So that I can utilize this body properly in service of Krishna, in doing our spiritual practices. So this way, devotees, they are always absorbed in Krishna consciousness and they are always conversing about Krishna. They are not talking anything nonsense, any prajalpa, which is just dragging their mind into something else apart from Krishna, which is not helping them to advance in Krishna consciousness. So they are not. And what happens when somebody is engaged? So this is the process. The process. First is Sambandha Gyan, knowing Krishna is the cause of all causes. And when we know, definitely we surrender. And what happens? What is the symptom of surrender? When we are doing these activities. Madchitta madgat prana bodhayanta parasparam. Means always engage in devotional service. Yes? And what will happen? The third is prayojan. Prayojan means goal of life. We know, now we know and we are doing. But whatever we are doing, if we do not know why we are doing, even that doing will not help much. So what we are doing and why we are doing must be clear. Must be clear. So, first of all, Krishna is speaking about what happens when somebody is engaged in Krishna consciousness, or this way, engaged in devotion. Teisham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. These are the shlokas we must remember. We should learn it. We should just, it should be on time, means anytime we can recite. Tisham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. The goal is coming closer to Krishna, going home, back to Godhead. And one who is constantly engaged in loving devotional service to Krishna, Krishna is saying, Dadami Bodhi Yogam Tam. I give them intelligence. I give them intelligence or understanding by which they can come to me. So this understanding, what kind of intelligence, what kind of understanding? So Krishna will give you intelligence how to navigate in this material world, how to negotiate and navigate in this material world. Means how to handle the situation in life so that we should not get stuck with our material situations, and we should continuously move towards our journey, towards our goal. So Krishna will give you that intelligence, how to get out of this material suffering, how to handle the situation so that we can move forward towards our goal. Tesham eva anukampatam aham ajnanajam tama nashyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhaswata. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So when we take shelter of Krishna, because Krishna is especially, as Paramatma, he is there within our heart. So what he does, he destroys with the shining lamp of knowledge, with the help of knowledge, shining lamp of knowledge, the knowledge we are receiving. So what happens when we receive this knowledge? When Krishna reveals this knowledge within our heart, what will happen? Darkness born of ignorance will not be there. Krishna Suryasam Mayara Adhikar, Jahan Krishna Tahanahi, Mayara Andhakar. Adhikar. What? So wherever there is sun, there is no question of darkness. So when we take shelter of Krishna, so Krishna gives us or enlighten us with the torch of knowledge and remove all the darkness within our heart, the ignorance, the illusory attachment of this material world. He gives us intelligence, he gives us understanding how we can come out of this material world and take shelter of Krishna or go home back to God. So few things we will discuss about, especially the topic which I had mentioned, the balancing head and heart. So based on this topic, whatever we have discussed as of now, so Krishna is giving knowledge about himself, about his different opulences. So when it comes to head, we are receiving this knowledge, but it is very difficult to digest. When we hear such, the great qualities, of course, because Krishna is God, so there is nothing impossible. I mean, when we say God can do this, God cannot do this, it means that is not the complete definition of God. It's God can do anything and everything, right? So also, like we discussed that, just knowing theoretically, theoretical understanding will not help to have complete realization. And that's why even if at this point of time we do not have complete faith on these words or something we are not able to conceive it, then also what we have to do, at whatever level we are in, first we have to take shelter. Whatever little bit of faith based on this knowledge, we have to take shelter. We have to practice that knowledge or practice that instruction which Krishna is giving. Manmana, Bhavaman Bhakto, whatever stage. At least we should try to do some service. And when we do service, means when we follow the process, then gradually we will move forward and we will see light, or we will see, we will develop much faith. Like a simple example, maybe when you drive in night, when you drive, what happens? You know where you are going, you know the destination, but maybe in dark night you cannot see your goal. But when you start moving, you have limited range of your front light, right? And whatever you see, based on that, that gives you a confidence. You know that, okay, I can see till here, and that path is very much clear, there is no problem, let's move. So when you move forward, then further again you see, and based on that, you develop your faith, more clarity, and that way you just keep on moving on your destination, and finally you reach there. So similarly, in Krishna consciousness, this is also, we can take this example of car driving to understand this concept, right? So what is important when you, for example, when you have a car and you want to drive, what is important thing about it? What do you take care of it? Just let's come up with, what is important in car?
Gas.
Gas, petrol. What else to take care?
You know, you must know driving also.
You should know about driving. Yes.
You should know the
License. You should have license.
and you should know the destination where you are driving to.
You should know the destination. What else?
You should know the way also.
Safe driving,
Huh?
the path, safe driving.
Safe driving. You have to be attentive enough.
To see.
Huh?
We need the light to see the road.
You should not hate somebody.
Yes. Means all this important, right? We need to maintain the car. We need to have proper
On the
No,
driver.
wheels.
You can have a driver also.
you should have a driver also. What is the most important thing?
By
Whatever
chanting
all
the-
these things, you
by
should have
chanting
license.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
Yes.
We are giving more and more light. The God is giving us more and more light.
Yes.
So surrender Him.
Yes. So let's take this example to understand quickly. We will take a few minutes and we'll conclude this. So all these things required, like when we are driving, definitely we have to check everything is proper. No, everything is there, properly aligned, and petrol, whatever you said, different things. What is the most important thing in this?
The
When you
direction.
have everything done, everything is ready. Huh?
The path to the direction.
Direction,
Desire.
huh? No, desire, that is
You should
okay.
focus.
You said something, even direction, but how you decide direction?
You should
Based
know
on
the-
what?
You should know the way actually.
Huh?
Yeah.
Where to go?
Where to go to the destination.
How
Because
to
you
go
have
there?
everything, you have best car, you have all the facilities, everything. But if you do not know
The
where to go,
Destination.
so when you start your journey,
You should know the destination.
You should know the destination.
you should know the destination. Means if you know the destination,
You should
then
not
definitely you will
hate
find out the
it.
ways. You will find out the ways, right? And GPS is there. So you just put the destination. You're not going to tell the ways. You just put the destination and you will get the ways. So point over here is, first of all, we must know where we are going. Then based on that we make decision, right? So when we say head means all these different arrangements that is there. Or else let me do in a different way. So first of all, this philosophical aspect, what we were discussing about head and heart, very clear understanding. Like we said, theoretical knowledge we have. Theoretical knowledge we have. But if we do not practice, then we will not get realization. So we have to get this knowledge into practice. We have to get the knowledge which is there in our head to heart. So initially when we are hearing, so what we are doing, we are collecting all the information, all the knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving to us. So now, to bring it to heart, what we have to do, we have to take steps. We have to follow the principles or the practices we have been given, right? The teachings we have been given. So those teachings like chanting the holy name of the Lord, being in association with devotees, reading, hearing, all these different practices when we do, going to spiritual places or doing some kind of services, all these are spiritual practices. So when we start doing it, it means now that realization we are getting. So this is what transferring the information or bringing the information from head to heart. That is one spiritual understanding. Means without practice we cannot. Now when it comes to balancing, even when we are talking about our life balancing, so I'm taking this analogy of a car to understand it. The first thing what we identify, okay, vehicle is there, everything is there perfectly, well aligned, everything. So the first thing we should know the goal. When it comes to balancing, life balancing, we should know the goal, purpose. Because whatever we do based on our purpose. Like if you take the materialistic people, not having any understanding about their spirituality, not having any clarity about a spiritual goal. And their purpose is just to eat, drink, be married, just to enjoy life, this material life. So whatever they do, that is based on this central point. If they see you are doing so much spiritual activity or you are engaging yourself in so many spiritual practices, what will they say? Oh, come on, you should balance your life, no?
You're crazy.
You should balance too much. It's not good for you. So why they are saying like this? By doing so much chanting, going so many times temple, come on, your life you should balance. What is the meaning of balance in their sense?
We should enjoy also material things also.
Aha, because their central point is material enjoyment. So they are focused on that, and based on that central point, they make adjustment. So we are trying to understand what is balance actually. One is static balance. Static balance means everything should go parallel. And this kind of balance in this material world is not possible, first of all. If you try to balance everything, everything should go parallel like this, that static balance is not going to work in this material world because situation will keep on changing. Things will not move as per your desire. So it is scriptures, they suggest dynamic balancing. What is dynamic balancing? First of all, you should know the purpose, the goal, and you should be focused on that, and based on that central point, you should make adjustment in other things so that you can achieve your goal, right? So with this understanding, why materialistic people, when they see spiritual people, they are doing so much spiritual practices, they say, come on, this is just spoiling life, you should balance, no? Because their central focus, their focus is material enjoyment. And that's why they compromise with other things. Similarly, devotees, because now they know that they are not material body. One thinker, he said, we are not human being experiencing spirituality. Understand this statement. We are not human being experiencing spirituality. We are a spiritual being experiencing human. We are a spiritual being in human body. Which one is the true statement? We are a human being but practicing spirituality, or we are a spiritual being in a human body. Yes, this is the truth. So materialistic people, because their thought process is, we are human being, I am this body, and spirituality, like any other business I am doing in my life, so many other activities, so many other departments, like taking care of family, education, financial aspect. Similarly, spirituality is one aspect so that I can get some peace. I can get freedom from some sinful reaction. Yes? So that is one aspect. And that's why their focus is material enjoyment, and they time to time, just to get rid of some sinful reactions. Like in churches, we discuss about, not everybody, but this is what the conception in churches, that if you have committed some sin on a weekend, on Sunday, you go and just donate, and you will be free from sinful activity. So one devotee, one person, he used to go every time, $10 he used to give. And again, what is called confessing in front of the Lord. My Lord, I committed so many sins. They take this $10 and free. So one time he came and he paid $20. And the priest over there asked, why every time you were paying $10 now, this time $20? Yes, because I'm on a long holiday. I'm on a long holiday, I'm going on a leave. So in advance he is sure that he will commit sin, take this $20 extra. So that is the conception. So means spirituality is just another aspect of their life. But devotees, now we know we are a spiritual being. This is a spiritual journey. Yes, and this body is just a temporary facility we have been given, especially this human body, which is especially meant for this purpose. Let me give you another sentence to understand what spirituality is. Very simple understanding. What is the spirituality? Somebody is asking you, His Holiness Rameshwar Giridhari. He said, very simple meaning. When you know the purpose of object it is meant for, or not knowing, utilizing the object for the purpose it is meant for, that is the spirituality. What is it? When you know the purpose of a particular object, particular thing, it is meant for, that is the spirituality. Yes, like salt, sugar, Prabhupada giving example. Sugar, what is the role of sugar? Sweetness. That is his spirituality, that is his religion, that is his dharma. So similarly, we living being, we are spiritual. And what is the purpose of a spirit? What is the purpose of soul? Serving God. Service is our natural constitutional position. Being part and parcel of Krishna, that this is our natural constitutional position to serve Krishna, to serve God. That is our nature. When we forget about this nature, our true position, then we suffer in this material world, because we then start identifying ourselves with the body, and then our everything is centered to this body, I and mine. So, a spiritual being or devotees who knows about his true identity, who knows about his relationship with Krishna, their central point, their focus is Krishna consciousness. And based on that central point, they make adjustment to other things. So for devotees, they will not try to get engaged in so many material activities. They will try to minimize it, to simplify it, so that they can maintain their body. Whatever basic necessities are there, they will be concerned with that. Simple, to keep good health, keeping good health, good neat and clean house, all these things they will do. They will not exaggerate it so much, so that, because as much you expand, then you have to engage in that, right? So in other sense, because they are focused on Krishna consciousness, and that's why they make adjustment with other small things. Unnecessarily, they do not get into so many things which is simply deviating or distracting their mind, like attachment, aversion, all these things we discussed about. So here, balancing means what we have to do. First thing what we have to do, we have to find out our goal of life. That is very much clear, right? And second, what we have to do, focus. Based on what?
Knowing our goal.
You know the purpose? Focus means that purpose is clear. The second word, when it comes to balancing, usually when we do some sessions like, so priority setting. Balancing means priority setting, life balancing. So the most important tool is priority setting. So that is what we are discussing. How to set priority based on understanding our goal, right? It's like the same example, car driver, or you're driving car. You know the goal, and when you are moving towards, when you are going on the way, so on the way so many things, so many obstacles, so many hurdles coming. But you are focused, you are clear with your destination, you are moving, and at the same time what you are doing? Negotiating and navigating. Negotiating and navigating means whatever different obstacles coming, either you are tolerating or you are avoiding or you are making some adjustment, but you are continuously moving towards your destination. That is what we do. Sometimes some traffic jam is there, we find out some other route. But finally we know that we have to reach to our destination. Similarly, even being in devotional life, it's not that when you are practicing devotion or you have taken shelter of Krishna, then there will be no problem in life. This is another misconception. People think that when you are in devotional life, there will be no problem. As long we are in this material world, problem will be there. Not only problem, being a devotee also, we have so many responsibilities, family responsibility, professional responsibility, education, financial management, all these things. It's not that we don't have all these activities in life. So definitely challenges will be there. So how we can handle those things? By setting priorities, prioritizing the activity. So first, we discussed that yes, we should always focus on our journey, our spiritual journey. We should make adjustment in our all other material desires, attachments or things. Second, in this journey, we have to have a balance, because if we do not have balance, that will create problem. So now, in devotees' life, we are talking about balance, especially how to, like sometimes, now, Like priority setting, I said. You have spiritual practices, family responsibility, children, finance, everything you have. So keeping this one central point in mind, we should prioritize our activity. Means, even Maharaj was giving a simple understanding that how we can prioritize activity. First of all, we know all these things. Priority is required. Prioritization is required. He said, you should do things when you can understand it. Maybe I may not give that proper sentence, but whatever you are doing, whenever it is supposed to be done, you should do it in that time. That is simple sentence he gave one. That you should do it when you should do it. So like, especially in devotees' life we are talking about. When we know that early morning time is for our spiritual practices, we should do our spiritual practices early in the morning. That is our first priority, right? So waking up early in the morning, doing our spiritual practices, chanting, reading, hearing, whatever we are doing, we should fully spiritualize ourselves with our spiritual practices. So, and when you are doing your other activities, maybe going to job, to business, so one should be focused on that. Household activities, one should be focused on that, do that activity. Again, whatever we are doing, the consciousness, that Krishna consciousness is there, that I am doing for the pleasure of Krishna. That one point is always there. But from external point of view, when we are in office, when we are in business, when we are doing our household activities, we should be very much focused on that. Means what we are doing, why we are doing, whenever we are doing, means that clarity must be there. Otherwise, what happens sometimes when it is a time of our spiritual practices, we try to do something else. I have seen this. When devotees are in office, then they try to find out some time to practice their spiritual, they try to find out time for their spiritual practices. So they become careless in their official activities. And when they are in office, they are thinking about their family. When they are in family, they are thinking about their office. So that is imbalance. And what happens? The imbalance means, again, when you are driving and you are not attentive, you are not focused, you are sleepy, then there is a chance of accident. So this kind of imbalance creates problem. So taking out some time, finding out those activities which is helping me to move forward in my spiritual journey, how to prioritize that is very, very important. We should do that. So especially Prabhupada has given us very simple system. Morning, we should focus on our spiritual practices. Best time for spiritual practices. Then early morning, that is Brahma Muhurta time. And after that, whatever other responsibilities we have family, we have children, we have our job, we have our business, we should be very much attentive on that. We should be focused on that. And then evening, this is called sandwich program. Prabhupada has given a sandwich. So morning, early morning and late evening or evening, it should be devotional service. Some kind of devotional practices must be there. And in between, whatever rest of the responsibility and activities are there, we should do that. And when we say dynamic balancing, even sometimes maybe if you are not able to do it, don't punish yourself. No? Because sometimes some other demands may be there. Maybe like in festival time, especially in temple, devotees much engaged in Janmashtami services, doing so many arrangements, and because of that, especially on festival day, sometimes even they are not able to complete their rounds in the morning, chanting rounds early in the morning. It goes very late. So such situations will be there. Like we are recommended that every day we should read Srila Prabhupada books, like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, we should read that. This is a rule, we should practice that. And we should be very much determined, dedicated. But sometimes, due to some other service demand, we may not do that. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, we could not do that. So we should not much punish for self. We should not feel very guilty about it. What we should do, okay, because of service demand, some adjustment we did. we were more focused on service, we were more focused on that activity. Now, let me get back, or let me take out some extra time and read. Similarly, maybe due to some service reason, we are away from family. We could not take care of family members properly. So, communication, one should pass, okay, this is the reason. And whenever you get time, take out some extra time, spend some time with family. So, this is called dynamic balancing. So, we should have clear understanding of our goal. Based on that, we should have clarity in our activities, and based on whatever list of activities are there, we should find out, we should set priority. Which one is more important for me? Which one is more important? List out those activities and do that activity. Give your best energy time to that activity. Why am I speaking energy time? When you are most energetic, you should do the first priority activity. Most of the time people in this world, they wake up, early morning is the best time when you are full with energy, and people, they start reading newspaper, magazine, watching TV, or going through some social media. No, that time we should avoid all these things. Especially in management, we were taught that newspaper or all these are the least priority activities, and we should do it when our energy level is very much down. Or entertainment, we should do it whenever it is down. Means maybe afternoon, late evening, whatever. So, along with this topic, I'm just giving this so that, because being into spiritual practices, we also go through. It's not only anybody junior or senior, even advanced devotees, they face challenges because of imbalance, because of not giving priority to their activities. So this one learning we can take, how to balance life in a spiritual or in Krishna consciousness. So our purpose is very much clear. We have to give priority to a spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, and whatever little bit adjustments we can make, we should do it, and we should take care of all other different aspects of our life, because if we do not take care of that aspect, may it be health, our finance, our family, our profession, then that will create disturbance. And when you are not peaceful, when you are disturbed, your spiritual practices will get disturbed. So even that aspect is very much important. In the name of spirituality, that is our goal, but we have to understand this aspect as well. Again, I'll conclude this with this saying that, because why I get so many messages and call devotees not coming, and so many things, so many priorities there. And whenever I heard about somebody is going through problem, challenges, and that's why they are not attending classes. One thing I remember is, even my spiritual mentor, he used to say that this whole Bhagavad Gita is to come out of problem. The whole Bhagavad Gita is to help you to come out of problem. And when you are in problem, you're going away from Bhagavad Gita. Once in a week, 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever you are spending, giving time, this knowledge and the spiritual practices will help to come out of the problem. So going away from solution and you are trying to find out, you're willing to solve the problem, that is not the right approach. And the real solution, it's not some temporary, because going away from Krishna and whatever adjustment, whatever solution we are trying to find out, that is not the real solution. Because making adjustment in material life is not the solution. Because you may externally solve one problem, but the problem will come in a different form. The problem will keep on coming in different form. You can stop one way of problem or one form of problem, but the problem in different forms will keep on coming. So how to handle those problems? Yes, how to respond in that situation? That is what we are learning from Bhagavad Gita. That's why I said that when you come to Krishna consciousness, it does not mean that there will be no problem. Problem will be there. But you are developing a Krishna conscious approach to handle that problem, to face that problem, to grow in that problem. The problem will be there, but your journey will not stop. You will continue towards your goal. Even that problem will become a stepping stone in your success. That is what Krishna consciousness is teaching us. How to tolerate those situations, how to grow with that in that situation. Right? So this particular chapter, especially 10th chapter, so knowing about Krishna's opulence means knowing about our relationship with Krishna, that Krishna is the source, He is the Supreme Father. And by practicing devotional service, with this process of Bhakti Yoga, we establish our relationship. And when we practice Bhakti Yoga, that helps us to achieve the final destination, that is love of Godhead. That is the perfection of our life. So we must know the sambandha, avideya, prayojan, the purpose of life, the process. Purpose means like that goal. So with this understanding, let's balance our life. Let's make necessary arrangements or adjustment so that we can advance, which can help us to grow. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Any question? Any question in this regard? The practical application also, we were discussing about balancing life. Yes. Any question? How do you find balancing? It's difficult, huh?
Very important.
Huh?
Very important.
Very important. And that's why I said, even if you fail in balancing, these are the principle I gave you. These are the principle. In spite of trying your best, again you may fail. So no worry at all about that. At least you are trying your best, and Krishna will be happy with that. So these understanding very much required, otherwise people sometimes they become so much fixed with something, even that becomes the cause of stress and anxiety. So, yes. Any question, anything you would like to discuss with your life example, if it is helping, you can share with others.
I'm happy that I'm coming to this Bhagavad Gita. But I'm troubling others by coughing and all. I have.
No, don't worry. That is not deliberately you are doing. That is your bodily situation. Of course, you have this concern. That is so great. You have this concern. You think about others. That is so great. But there's no problem. I think nobody is getting disturbed with that.
You can never
We're all happy to have
Yes.
you.
Because
Pleasure
here-
to have you.
Here, all external impediments, that is, this is great that we have your association,
Yeah.
having so sublime qualities. Having association of devotees is more important. What external things, we don't bother about that. As long as, yes, we are attentively hearing about Krishna. And because of you all, I'm getting this opportunity to speak about it. This is so fortunate I am. Yes. Whatever we speak from here, that is very much dependent on the audience. The same shlokas, I go to 10 places, I speak 10 different things. Never, I have seen that. This is not just with me, any speaker, the same Bhagavad Gita, n number of times, wherever we go, a totally different discussion is going on. Maybe topic is same, but altogether a different discussion and everything is different example, different discussion. And it is just because of audience. If audience is sincere, similarly things will come up. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Let's chant one round of chant, Japa.